SBC Media.
Welcome to the iGaming Daily Podcast, analysing the news from the betting and gaming industry all over the globe, supported by Optimove, the #1 CRM marketing solution for the iGaming market.
Brazil continues to give us a lot to talk about in the iGaming industry, but also in the land-based casino industry. And that's what we will cover today on a new episode of iGaming Daily. Welcome, everyone. My name is Fernando Noodt, Media Manager for SBC, and today I am joined by Maria Menezes and Elisa Marcante, business journalists for SBC Noticias Brazil, to cover what's going on in the country, in the South American giant. At some point, it was the sleeping giant. It's not sleeping anymore. It's very much awake, but there's some stuff that may be taking a little bit longer than we were expecting them to. Ana, how are you today?
Hi, Fed. Thank you very much for the introduction. It was very good. And yet, not a sleeping giant anymore, but definitely taking things slow. We always take things slow. So we're going to cover a bit more about that.
Elisa, do you take things slow? How are you today?
Hi, Fer. I'm good, thank you. And you?
Very good, very good. Looking forward to discuss what happened in Brazil. There was a lot of expectation, but we are all just sitting here and looking at each other and saying, hey, what happened? But what happened, we will discuss after thanking Optimove, the #1 CRM marketing solution for the iGaming market and sponsor of iGaming Daily. Thank you very much, Optimove. Like I said, introducing what's going on in Brazil. Land-based industry, not only casinos, but also jogo do bicho, a lot of stuff that relates to the land-based casino, because Brazil is a very unique case where the iGaming industry was regulated before the land-based segment, even though eons ago, like in the 50s, maybe there was some gambling allowed, then it was banned. And ever since, it has been banned until iGaming came into place. The government decided to regulate iGaming and turned Brazil into a very unique case where iGaming was regulated first, but land-based is on the table, or was on the table, but has now been postponed, and we are in the same position as in every other week, Ana.
Yeah, so on July 8th, the Senate President, Davi Alcolumbre, he withdrew the vote on the bill. So the bill would legalize casinos, not only casinos, but bingo, jogo do bicho, as first accent was perfect in pronouncing it, and also horse betting. And the decision was due to 3 reasons. First of all, a low quorum. So there were only 56 out of 81 senators present. And besides that, the ones who were not present were requesting to participate in the vote once they returned from official travel. And we have to remind that in 8 days, they're going to have a recess. So we have no idea when this is going to come back to the table. The president also mentioned how polemic the bill is as a way of sort of justify postponing it. And they have been doing this for a while now. And during the session, and this is worth mentioning, just to show how against the bill some of the senators are, especially from some very particular parties, such as PSDB, PT, which is the ruling government party, and also União. And just as an example, with a quote that was used, they were comparing the gambling industry in general with organized crime, addiction, and also social harm. So they said, and with quotes here, with Senator Humberto Costa said, he's from the ruling party right now, PT. He said, jogo do bicho serves as a front for militias and criminal organizations. So this is a big quotes, just a really big talk, and this has to be taken into consideration. The Amazonas senator as well said that Amazonas doesn't need any casinos there, so it could give space for environment issues and also organized crime. So this is how they're seeing it, and we're just gonna have to hashtag wait and see to check what are the developments of this case. But we can cover all of that, of course, on SBC Noticias Brazil.
Yeah, of course. Everything will be covered, and everything that has passed has already been covered by SBC Noticias Brazil. So if you have not subscribed to the newsletter, please go ahead and do it. sbcnoticias.com/br. Go to the part that says newsletter, click on that, subscribe. You can also subscribe to every other SBC media newsletter there, so you can keep up to date not only with what happens in Brazil, but also what happens everywhere in the world related to the gaming industry. And you were saying one of the excuses is okay, so Jogo do Bicho and gaming in general is a cover for organized crime, and I reckon that it's a very easy excuse, even though we don't know if it's right or not. But if it were right, and you had an unregulated segment operating, you have no way to control whether the industry is actually a cover for organized crime. So what better way to actually control that regulating the segment and actually having some government bodies looking over them, setting up a watchdog to look over the industry and actually control whether it is where the money is coming from and where the money is going. I mean, that's a very, very interesting excuse. I mean, it's not new. It's definitely not new. That's an argument we have been hearing for some time everywhere in the world. But still, it never ceases to amaze me how they ignore the part that if you regulate an industry, you can actually benefit not only from collecting tax money from it, but also from controlling where the money is coming from, where the money is going, who are participating in this industry, and everything else. But there's a strong opposition to this bill, and even we have like Bolsonaro and Lula on the same corner, apparently, because the PT is against the bill. President Lula said that he will sign the bill if it passes eventually, even though he doesn't like it. That's what he said a few weeks ago. But the Bolsonaro family is also against the bill, Elisa.
Yeah, so his son, the senator Flávio Bolsonaro, recently shared a letter opposing the legalization of land-based casinos here in Brazil. And this letter was issued by the International, I think it is, Council of Evangelical Ministers of Brazil, also known as CIMEB, and expressed concerns about the potential negative effects of gambling. Things like rising personal debt, addiction, and even harm to the local economy. So this letter was signed by Pastor Silas Malafaia, and he's the vice president of CIMEB, along with several other religions leaders. And we all know that Brazil has a strong religious opposition to sports betting and gambling. But the thing is, apparently Flávio himself has been seen at casinos abroad. And according to a report by Metropolis, earlier this year, he visited the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Miami. Oh, I miss that place. and left with over $200,000 in cash. And it was like withdraw directly from the hotel's cashier. And also he was part of an Embratur delegation in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. Embratur is the Brazil's international tourism promotion agency, on a visit to the US. And during this trip, he met with the former CEO of Las Vegas Sands, Sheldon Adelson, and Irajá, the Senator Irajá Abreu, also the reporter of the bill, the casino bill, was also there. So here in Brazil, he's against the land-based casinos, but outside Brazil, he goes to casinos, he plays, he put his money. So that's the thing.
Yeah, there's casinos and casinos, right? But moving over to iGaming, the popularity of gaming websites has also been on the rise in Brazil. Like we said, it used to be the sleeping giant, but not anymore, Elisa.
Not anymore. Yeah, exactly. There's this study by SimilarWeb The company looked at global traffic across various websites and found that licensed sportsbook in Brazil, they are actually among the most visited in the country, second only to Google. So in January this year, the sportsbook saw an average of 55 million visits per day, and that number kept growing. By May, they hit like 68 million visits. And that is like another source point out that during the football matches, the big ones, the traffic spikes even more. During the Champions League, for example, there was like a game between PSG and Inter Milan, and these websites got like more than 70 million access. So this study was checking about the visitors here in Brazil, and it shows like a big increasement from the past months. And also it showed us that those visitors came through direct traffic, nearly to 68% of all visits. And surprisingly, social media had less impact than expected, accounting for only about 8% of the traffic. But still, we are good here. We are showing that the industry is growing, and this is a really nice thing, at least for me. I don't think if Flavio agrees, but
no, probably he doesn't. But not everything is perfect for the iGaming industry, as there's been some serious trouble regarding some alleged malpractice by an operator. Anna, why don't you very briefly tell us what has happened there?
Okay, so SBC Notícias Brasil was approached by a gambler. We're gonna call him Diego, and this whole coverage was done by Ricardo Assis, the editor of SBC Notícias Brasil. So if you want to check the full story, please go to our website. It's a very nice investigative work. So to sum it up, this gambler Diego, he turned 1,000 reais into nearly $148,000. Which would be 800,000 reais in under 24 hours on the PixBet platform on December 2024. And he allegedly requested a full withdrawal and the account closure, but he was repeatedly denied, as he said, due to a daily withdrawal limit of 10,000 reais imposed by the platform. If this is proven right, it would be against the betting law we have in Brazil, which says that players can withdraw the money and there cannot be a limit for that daily limit, in this way. And then he mentioned that he tried to self-exclude himself to avoid further gambling, but then he mentioned that he was told he needed to withdraw the remaining balance, but he could not do it because of the daily limit of transactions. And this became sort of like a snowball, as he mentioned. And during this time on January, he said that he experienced a sort of like impulsive episode, and he placed a very high value bets in a matter of minutes. And he mentioned that he lost around $85,000, which would be almost 500,000 reais. And he claims that no responsible gambling alerts were issued despite the rapid increase of the betting amounts. He also was later reportedly diagnosed with ADHD and a pathological gambling behavior, and he sent a formal legal notice to PixBet requesting for reimbursement and compensations. However, we still have no answer from PixBet. We still have to, again, #wait and see what are the next developments are gonna be. But some experts that we talked to, and he can especially, of course, talk to, mentioned that similar restrictive practices are very common among platforms dealing with high-winning users, and also that this behavior could amount to abusive strategies. So it's a pretty big story. It's worth reading. It's worth sharing as well. And yes, it's a big thing here.
Yeah, well, if you want to keep up to date with what's going on with PixBet and our good friend Diego, be sure to subscribe to SBC Notícias Brasil newsletter. And speaking of the image of the industry, we will discuss what's going on in the rest of Latin America right after a very brief commercial break. Thank you very much, Ana and Elisa. And people go get some water or anything you like. That's how you say it. And we'll be right back after this quick break.
SBC Leaders connects the gambling industry's top-tier operators and associations to share the best ideas, collaborate on solving the biggest issues, and push innovation throughout the betting and gaming industry. If you're an operator and want to join the discussion, visit sbcleaders.com for more information.
And we are back with iGaming Daily now to discuss the rest of Latin America outside Brazil. And for that, we have now with us editor of SBC Noticias, also known as The Boss, Lucia Gando. Lu, how are you?
Hello, Fer. Nice to be here with you again.
And we still have to find a nickname for SBC Noticias journalist Damian Martinez. Dami, how are you?
Hi, Fer. Everything's good here. We will find it. We will find it soon.
I'm thinking that the easy way would be call you the Crow, as you are a San Lorenzo fan, which are known as the Crows. So, but I'm thinking of a more personalized thing. So, we'll look into that, in the future. But, to go back to the gaming industry, which is what's important for iGaming Daily, I mentioned that we will discuss the image of the industry outside of Brazil that's going on through some, struggles. There's something related to that. After Cirsa took over the news lately, as it finally made its debut on the main Bolsa Madrid, the stock exchange, Lu?
Yes, we're not going to go through technicalities, but Cirsa, one of the biggest gaming companies in Spain and Latin America, finally went out public this week with a price of around 3 billion valuation. It took months of preparation, and they launched their IPO offering 25% of the company, but only to institutional investors. The company currently operates in more than 150 casinos across different countries, especially centered in Latin America, Spain, Italy, and the company has been reporting solid financials. So this step was taken after years of meeting restructuring goals to repair the company's heavy debt burden that they had, especially before the pandemic. And with this new transaction, Blackstone, which is the operator of Cirsa, hopes to reduce the company's debt and grow its financial position. The IPO is also notable because it marks the first major listing in Spain over 2 years, at a time when the market conditions are still somewhat uncertain. But this generated, as you mentioned, uncertainty between investors as well, due to the gaming industry in general.
Yeah, I think I wasn't expecting something as much as the Cirsa IPO since the White Walkers and the Winter from Game of Thrones. You remember we started watching Game of Thrones maybe 2010, and the winter was coming, the winter is coming, the winter is coming. The White Walkers were walking all white, and they never came. Well, it was the same with the IPO. It's always like they're getting ready for the IPO. Cirsa is getting ready. Blackstone says the IPO will be here soon, and it didn't come. But it finally came here. But however, like you said, investors did not rush to buy Cirsa as they originally expected.
Yeah, the reception wasn't exactly euphoric. Investors didn't jump in as expected, partly because of ongoing concerns about the gaming industry itself, as we mentioned. We all know that this is a controversial industry, so many institutional investors are hesitant to associate their brands with the gaming sector. It's not only about financial returns, but also about ethics, as I mentioned, and internal policies, as they put it. Some firms admitted they avoid gambling stocks altogether to protect their reputation. So even though Cirsa managed to price its shares at around 10 euros, 9.41, I think, right, this price is right in the middle of the proposed range. The interest reflects a deeper discomfort with the industry, as we mentioned.
Yeah, I'm sure we will have further news about the stocks, the Cirsa shares, the stock price. So make sure you subscribe to SBC Noticias newsletter to keep up to date with what happens with Cirsa. But speaking of image, there's a group of influencers from Argentina that has been sanctioned for promoting illegal gaming websites, and that's a new thing for us, Dami.
Yes, Fer, this was kind of a new case. This week, 16 Argentinian influencers charged with promoting illegal gambling platforms agreed with the Buenos Aires City Justice System to record and broadcast awareness videos as part of a symbolic reparation. The agreement stipulated that they had to record a video using their image and voice to warn about the dangers of illegal gambling. This material had to be published in story format for 3 days and remain on their social media feeds for at least a month. The Buenos Aires Attorney General explained that it was deemed appropriate for the influencers to repair the damage caused through the same medium where they produce it. According to the official, a rapid resolution to the conflict was prioritized to provide a response to society and raise awareness of the problem. However, he warned that for some lawsuits that are still ongoing or in cases of repeat offenses, the criminal investigation will continue and may include seizure of assets, money, or property.
Yeah, it was a wide range of influencers because there were like Wanda Nara was there, the agent, former wife, I think, of Mauro Icardi, the footballer, and also this butcher I used to see on TikTok that he would like say, hey, if you go to buy meat, don't let the butcher give you this type of meat because it's a bad type and whatever. And that proves like how easy it is for the unauthorized gaming companies to actually approach any influencers from the smallest reach to the biggest, because we have a butcher and we have Wanda Nara. So that proves how easy it is for them to actually approach them and promote their operation. So it's very important that these types of sanctions are enforced so people learn which companies are allowed, which companies are not, and what is allowed and what is not. But advertising has also been on the public agenda for some time in Argentina, and now there's another province pushing a ban altogether, Lu.
Yeah, it's Tucumán. They are moving forward with a bill to ban all forms of gambling advertising, especially on public spaces, such as buses and general transport. The proposal, which already has support from multiple political parties, aims to protect vulnerable groups. We have a lot of discussions here in Argentina about the advertising to young people. So they want to prevent young people from participating in the industry, which is something that is going on here in the country.
Definitely something to follow on SBC Noticias as it develops, not only in Tucumán, but also everywhere in Argentina. And now we are running out of time, but very briefly, Dami, Colombian lotteries are also under some scrutiny over a suspicious lottery draw.
Yeah, it is kind of a colorful case. The Colombian Attorney General's office has proposed to harden the controls and audits of all the lotteries that are operating in the country. This decision has come after the wife of a commercial manager of Lotería de Medellín won a multi-million-dollar prize. This, of course, has raised concerns about the possible improper involvement of current or former officials in the game. So they're starting an investigation, and they will start an investigation to all the lotteries in the country.
Yeah, this reminds me of former Argentinian president Alberto Fernández saying, "My dear Fabiola," threw a party during the quarantine that she should have not. This reminds me a bit of that, but my Argentine friends will understand what I'm saying. But that has been all for today. Thank you very much, Lu, Dami, also Anna and Elisa, who were in the first half of the episode. Thank you very much, James Ross, for producing this episode. And to our listeners out there, we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to today's iGaming Daily podcast, supported by Optimove, the #1 CRM marketing solution for the iGaming market. If you want to find out more about some of the subjects raised today, feel free to explore any of the sites in the SBC News network or check out the latest edition of the SBC Leaders magazine. Happy reading.